Yep. When they're not playing the Kennedy Center, you catch them here on the link. The Rates and Stebbins and the Dolls, 6:58. Let's head to the KUAM News Zoom room where we have Mike Crisostomo is standing by. There's a video. I'm pretty sure you guys might have seen it. It went viral. I think overnight. A young woman going into the chapel at St. Anthony. She appeared very distraught. Kind of knelt down before the altar, and then got up and kind of knocked down some of the candles. And now the video has gone viral. I got it like 3 times this morning.
Yeah.
But Polly Mike is here to share that there have been a few new developments with this video and the circumstances surrounding it. Good morning, Polly.
Hi, good morning, Chris, Sabrina, Jason.
Good morning, Father. So let's just start at the beginning. This incident that happened on the video, it occurred, yesterday?
That's correct. At about 5:10, 5:15 in the afternoon, we received word that the chapel, that there was an individual that seemed distraught and had toppled some candles on the altar, and we're very concerned about her. So by the time we were able to get there, church officials got there, she was already gone, but we had reviewed our CCTV cameras and discovered that this individual seemed very distraught and knelt before the altar for whatever reasons that perhaps she was going through. And I think that's something key to note here, is that this chapel is open 24 hours and it's for people who are going through some tough times. And during this pandemic, during this crisis, through whatever lockdowns or whatever it may be, they're going through so much. And that's why we can't keep our churches closed or our chapels closed. This is essential for people to come to. And I'm glad she came there. We were just more concerned about where she's going and what she's going to do after she left there. And I think that's one reason why the video went out, was to identify her so that we can let her know that there's help, that we can help her. Our priests are standing by. Our counselors are standing by if she needs that help, and to reach out to the families. And that's why we contacted the police, not to report her in or to press charges, far from it. But I think it's just to be able to get the word to her that we're here for her and that we want to be able to give her the help that she's looking for. Or maybe she just wants someone to talk to. Obviously, she came to the chapel for a reason. And we want to make sure that message gets to her. So I hope it did. I hope the police were successful, because we did hear from a family member that she's okay and she's just going through so much stuff in her family, and we want to make sure that we reach out and send prayers to her. And that's immediately what we did when we saw this. The council members and the ministers' council, we immediately offered prayer for her to be able to reach out to her. And so I hope that she's getting that, and if she's not, please to come call my office. We'll be happy to help her and get the help that she needs.
Right. When I saw the video and I got it this morning, it really did break my heart to see that, because it kind of shows that you're right. People are going through so much, and where do they go? Who do they turn to? And what are you hearing from your community, from your church members, about the problems that they're going through right now?
It's overwhelming, Sabrina, because and I also work with the Guam Coalition Against Sexual Assault and Family Violence. When the government declares a lockdown, what that does for victims, it secures their area, and abuse continues to occur even more so because they're locked in. And so we're hearing a lot from Barrow, from our partners from the Guam Coalition, about that type of thing. And so as Guam, as a coalition, we're trying to address the issue. What can be done? How can we work with victims who are in a lockdown situation? Obviously, if the governor has declared it, we have to follow it. But what can we do to provide safety for victims? Who to call? What resources are offered to them? What can we provide for them immediately? And I know, like with Ali Shelter, shelters are very hard to come by these days. So even just to move them to a shelter, Guam is so small. People know where people are at this point, and sometimes it's difficult to secure a person's shelter from their perpetrator. And so, we want to reach out to anyone doing that. Our programs are designed for that, but it's not foolproof. It's not 100%. And there are still people who fall through the cracks and who are victimized because, one, they're afraid. They don't want to call the police either because their mully or their pari is in that department. So we're hearing all kinds of stuff, and we're trying to kind of meet the gaps and meet the needs. And I hope that we continue to do so. Like this woman, for example,
Yeah.
thank God our chapel was able to open up and receive such a person in there to be able to, for her to maybe just find some kind of comfort and relief. And unfortunately, this video went out, but it's a lesson learned for us as well that maybe people are going through so many things. Please let us know. Reach out to someone you trust. Reach out to a church person, a faith-based person. Reach out to a friend that you can trust. There is help for you.
Right. And aside from, this is a health care crisis, but it's also a mental health crisis. We've heard the stories about people who are committing suicide. So in that regard, what are you hearing from your vlog?
The suicide rates have, what has been reported out, has increasingly, and then we do funerals. Gosh, we have 3 funerals scheduled, and again, whether they're COVID related, whether suicides, accomplished or completed cases, people have lost loved ones during this time, and it was very difficult for them to deal with. I don't know if you remember earlier on in March when the first COVID patient died. The protocols then was to cremate immediately within 24 hours. Family members couldn't even be there.
Right.
Yeah.
Fortunately, they allowed a clergyman to bless the body, but it was just very difficult for families to cope with and to deal with. And I think if anything we've learned from this, and as we continue to learn from all of this, is to be able to kind of deal with the aftermath of this, and how do we deal with the loss of loved ones and the grieving of family members, and how do we deal with individuals like this young girl who was before this altar seeking help, obviously, and how do we reach out to her? And I think that's the point of this was to send the message out to our people that there are a lot of organizations, a lot of groups that are available, and please, suicide is not the answer for it.
And this is the time. This is the season, right?
Right.
When a lot of people are going through so much, and not only just in their personal lives, and now you put COVID on top of that. I mean, it's important.
Yeah.
Organizations like the Guam Behavioral Health and Wellness Center and their 24-hour crisis hotline.
647-8833. If you guys ever need someone to talk to, again, it's a 647-8833.
And yeah, our prayers really go out to this woman, and hopefully, she's going to be okay. But moving on, Mercy Heights. Do you have any updates on? I understand that the school has since reopened. I mean,
Sure, that's my understanding, and they have again sanitized the area. They have UV lights installed in there. They have, I believe they're looking at some kind of air filters as well. And then of course their whole mapping setup. Public health was able to go in there and assist the administration and look at and maybe assess their situation as far as how far do the kids sit. Is the proximity and of their desk and things are adequate enough, and so they're looking at all of those things. And I thank the administration, the principal Belen, who continues to reach out to our task force and to public health for guidance, and we continue to offer that. So kudos to them, and we've met with the other principals as well, Sabrina and Chris, so that in the event that it does happen at any of the other schools, the principals are aware of what resources are available and what protocols can be implemented and given. So I'm glad that they were able to do that as well.
What about the 7 that tested positive? How are they doing? Are they okay?
Sure. I met with 2 of them. So far, I've heard that everyone is doing fine. No further conditions, actually. None of them were admitted into the hospital. None of them went to GMH or anything like that. But I do know that many of them were being monitored by their healthcare professionals or by their doctors, and but they're doing fine. They're all doing fine.
And what about St. Anthony's? I remember that it also was closed last month.
Sure. That's the school I know more about, and so St. Anthony is doing fine.
I meant the church. I meant the.
Yeah, that's like St. Anthony School. St. Anthony's School is doing fine, and we're eager to open up, and we're working closely with the superintendent's office and the governor's office, public health, to ensure that we hope to open up by next semester. We are hearing that our parents are eager to send their kids back to face, but there are there are those parents who are afraid, and we recognize that and acknowledge that. But this is not going to go away, and I think we have to teach our kids, teach ourselves that sanitization, wearing the mask, social distancing is just going to be part of our lives for a while. So not to be afraid about it, but to be able to kind of just do our part. Personal responsibility is very key.
Well, Polly, thanks for coming on and sharing that. Again, I know that the video has gone viral all over, but at the request of the family who had contacted Father Mike, we're not going to play it. And we're just kind of glad to see that there's been some sort of resolution, Polly, and that, with the humility of Christ, I like the way that you guys are handling this situation.
Yes, please. And to respect the family's request, and we've done so, we've taken it down from our sites. And so, to be able to know that there are people in their families too that are going through stuff. And we don't want this to happen to any family, please. And that's the reason why we wanted to get the word out to this family that we are here. And, with the body found yesterday, that's what we were afraid of. We were afraid that, oh my God, is this going to be that individual or not? And so we're just thankful she's okay, and that hopefully she'll get the help that she's looking for.
Thank you, Polly.
Thanks, Polly.
Thank you, guys. God bless.
See you. Jay, what do we got in the virtual Zoom room? Hold on, Polly, because there's some snacks.
Oh, we have got yogurt-covered pretzels. Not. You always put the pressure on me. Like I never get any heads up that we're
yogurt-covered pretzel.
Have you never, Polly? Do you like yogurt-covered pretzels?
Yes, I love them.
See, there you go.
Okay, all right. Okay.
We aim to please here on the
There
link.
you
We
go,
know our
that's it.
audience.
You're lucky you found the one guy in Guam who likes yogurt-covered pretzels. Thank you, Polly. Enjoy your yogurt-covered
Thank you, guys.
pretzels. Okay.
Take it.
All right.
God
Now,
bless.
we'll keep it in the Zoom room.
This is salty and sweet.
It's good, yeah. I just don't know if it's good for breakfast, but it is what it is. Let's.
It's 2020.
It is.